It looks like a combination of a twist, weight loading from two bodies, and then you have the twisting of him pulling his arm underneath his armpit. So you see it here, big twist from the upper torso, and then he's wrenching everything into that side. It's almost corkscrewing his knee. Now, my question about this, see, watch how he lands and then it pops, and almost immediately you see Alex grimace in pain, not normal, and that's pretty much the fight. All right, guys, UFC Vegas 93 is in the books, and I want to give you guys the goods on the breakdown of the finishing sequence and let you guys understand just how good Taira really is. Now, there were some great things done on both sides. I thought Alex Perez landed a lot more in the first round. Not as cleanly, didn't look as precise, but still a lot more glancing and just more shots overall in terms of volume. But then you had Taira, who just looked very clean whenever he did land the uppercut, the straights down the middle, and even in the clinch trying to get those knees up to the head, where Perez was trying to offer up some offense of himself, trying to off-balance Taira and land some body strikes, as well as some shots over the top in those clinch situations. So without further ado, let's get into the finish. I want to give you guys some of the understanding that I have under my experience from using that Renzo Gracie lock is what we call it. And whenever we're on the back, Matt would always say to me in training room at Sarah BJJ and go, do the Renzo, sparring sessions and grappling sessions, wrestling, if I get to that position. And I am now learning that it's called the Otatsu lock in Japanese. Another guy who has made it famous, I guess his name is Wada. I can't say his first name, I'm gonna try. But let's get into the sequence and I'm gonna show you guys. Here you see these guys in the clinch. Alex Perez level changes right here, does a beautiful job of getting underneath that leg, and he bends his waist. So let's go back one more time on that. I want you guys to see how he level changes. Right here, he level changes, all his weight shifting to his left leg right here, and then he's able to lean back and create some space, which he's now able to take Taira to the side where there's no post leg and he's kind of off balance in that situation. He goes, beautiful takedown, still controlling the leg, which is a really smart thing to do here. But then Taira does a good job of maintaining this underhook with his left hand. That underhook is everything. So now he goes underhook with the right hand and he tries to use his leg as he opens up his left leg. He pulls him to the far side, trying to shift Alex Perez's weight all the way to Taira's left. Now, Perez has his hand behind his head, so notate that. So he rocks him. Perez now has to balance on his head to kind of tripod and trying to sag his weight back so he doesn't get floated over the top. He comes back, tripods here. He floats back. Taira does a good job keeping this underhook. And so watch how he swings this left leg back down. He tries to shuck him up again with this underhook. Alex is trying to maintain control as best as he can. Now from here, he takes that left hand, he goes down his back. That is a very important detail. Climbing down your opponent's back, and then trying to elevate with your legs at the same time, and then stepping over that foot with your same side leg, the one that's on the outside. So now he scrapes the ankle, which allows Taira to get small here in this position, posting on his hand. He's on his elbow, which could still be used if Alex was able to get to that position to kind of mess with his base and flatten him back out. But Taira does a good job just maintaining his control. Now he gets small again, controls. Now look at this right hand, comes underneath. And then he shifts his weight once again, opens up his left leg to his stand-up, and then he has that underhook and he's back to his feet. That is a beautiful stand-up. So guys, if you need to learn how to get up off your back, one of my favorite stand-ups are utilizing that underhook, getting to that single leg. I don't have a name for it. I don't know what Matt Serra calls it. I don't know what Renzo calls it, because obviously Matt learned from Renzo. I learned from Matt. I also learned from Jason Rao and Nick Ronan. With that said, that situation, I just don't know a name. I don't have a name. I don't know what to tell you. But it helps you get back to your feet, and that's one of my favorite escapes back to the feet. So now we fast forward. Let's get to the second round. Now Taira does a great job with his feints here. He level changes, watch the subtle feints. subtle, and he shoots. Alex doesn't know the timing. He gets in, he drives to the cage. Now look, the right hand is controlling the leg. The hands are not locked. Alex is doing a great job with this underhook here. That's stopping Taira from getting his hands locked from that position because his arm is on the far side of his hip. Now watch what happens here. He pulls him up, he locks his hands. This is a cheat code. Whenever you're extended up here, if you can pull your bottom arm through and reach and connect the fingers and go to an S grip, money, voila, as they would say. And the brother that done. So he comes up. Now, one of my favorite things that I like to utilize, we were actually just going over this at Extreme Couture with one of our private sessions, small group private work, and you step behind that post leg. Alex Perez's hands are occupied trying to jack up the underhook. One leg is off the mat, only the post leg is remaining. And then Taira's gonna step through with his left leg right here, right there. Money. That's the takedown. Now, if we go back, now I'm going to show you what I think Perez should have done to stop this sequence. Once he gets in, he has his underhook. I think once he gets here, he should have been taking his left hand, keep the underhook with the right hand, but now taking your left hand, he should have been turning Taira's head to the inside because now he's coming up to his feet. He tried to do it, but it's just a little bit too late. His leg is already off the floor. And that situation is going to be very, very difficult. If he had turned the head earlier to the inside, now Taira has to change up his entire offensive finish for that takedown. Now, we get to the back take. Right here. Alex needed to put this right arm through for an underhook to stop Taira from taking his back and advancing position and using the cage as his friend in this situation. The cage blocks him from getting around. The underhook is an extra leverage and also blocks him from getting around. But here, Alex turns forward, almost going to all fours. There's no opportunity for him to get to this underhook anymore because he's already too far behind. That's checkmate in a position like this. The only thing he could do here is try to roll, create a scramble, or try to tripod and shake him off the top while he has only one hook in. But here he goes all fours. Taira gets the second hook in. He's immediately attacking the neck. One arm across the face and the nose, and the other arm underneath on the bottom. Trying to pry his head up and sneak the bottom hand through for that rear naked choke. Very, very slick. He tries to go for the palm to palm grip. Alex does a good job here. Now let's get to this Tatsuro lock. Tatsuro. Now, whenever you're in this position, this leg here lacing behind is supposed to be what we call a broomstick. So you have the figure four, the legs are interlaced, and the broomstick is supposed to kick that far leg out, putting a lot of weight on this post leg here. See the post leg? And then you lean back and that takes your opponent down. You can also push off the cage in this sequence and get to that finish as well and get the same result. And the other thing that you could do here is you could pull him straight back. The difference with this one is you see Taira, he's now going to reach his left arm across and trap his far wrist. So Alex is doing a good job. He's controlling the wrist 2-on-1, but he should have been addressing this figure four lock broomstick between his legs because that's immobilizing him in this position. So he gets here, he tries to take a step, he's almost off balance, but he manages to keep himself up. Now right here, he reaches across his left hand. Now watch what Taira does with his left hand. He catches that wrist. Now Alex almost did himself a disservice because he's coming over the top, right? He takes his hand out, which allows him to pull it, and he put his arm over the top. And this allows Taira to pull his arm underneath his arm. So Alex's arm is here, and now he's crossed, almost in a straight jacket. That right arm is tucked across his body versus if it was up here and he could try to get his arm inside to fight off the wrist grip and get back to a 2-on-1. But instead, when it goes underneath, now it's really difficult to get all the way back here and reach across and to get this wrist. very, very difficult situation to put yourself in. And when you're in the heat of the moment, it's not easy to think about things like that. But you have to be dialed in, protecting the neck, tucking the chin, even if you have to extend your chin to get a little extra blockage so that it can't get under your neck. If you just tuck your chin to your neck, sometimes you don't get that full protection. But if you extend the jaw, it's gonna be more tiring on the jaw muscles, but for people who have a small head like myself, it makes it a little bit more defensively sound so that when they try to get under, if I just put my head down, they can still get under my neck. I extend my jaw, and it's much more difficult for them to get under there. So that's really what you want to do. Obviously, it's a fight, you're going to get punched, but you have to address this broomstick lock, Renzo Gracie lock, Tatsuro lock, whatever you guys, however you say it. Now look, this is what Taira does really well. He extends and he leans back. And the way that he leans back, it puts a lot of pressure on the right side ligament, in my opinion, that LCL. And I popped both of my LCLs in college. And I know it sucks. Thankfully, I did not need to get surgery. Thank God, knock on wood. So this looks like a combination of a twist, weight loading from two bodies, and then you have the twisting of him pulling his arm underneath his armpit. So you see it here, big twist from the upper torso, and then he's wrenching everything into that side. It's almost corkscrewing his knee. Now, my question about this, see, watch how he lands and then it pops, and almost immediately you see Alex grimace in pain, not normal, and that's pretty much the fight. So we can stop recording on this one. Now, with that said, I've utilized that move multiple times. I don't even know what to call it. We call it the Renzo. Some people call it the Broomstick. But for me, I've always taken down my partners, taking guys down in fights with it. Never had an issue. I got my fight with Brian Caraway. Jake, I'm gonna send that to you so that you can actually upload that clip to this so people can see it side by side or even just after. And you pull them straight back depending on what your partner does, your opponent does. And this one, the unique difference is grabbing the arm and almost wrenching and corkscrewing as you pull and lean on that side. So if Taira is saying this was his submission, which, hey, I have no idea. But for you to do that type of submission, like, my thing is, how would you know the effectiveness of this unless you were to have actually hurt someone in the training room, which would be really, really shitty. So I'm hoping that's not what Taira has done in the practice room, because that would be a really shitty way to, I don't want to say end your career, but be out of the game for quite some time, pending the severity of the injury. But beautiful takedown, beautiful setup. I think it's underutilized in MMA. I think primarily you see a lot more grapplers use it. And I think Renzo made it really, really popular. The guy over in Japan, Wada, made it really, really popular. And now on a main event stage for Taira, I think it's gonna do wonders for him, and people are gonna now associate that move with him here in the States. I know over there in Japan and Ryzen, when Mighty Mouse fought that Wada guy, he got the takedown, but he eventually ended up, I think, getting out or losing that fight. I know Mighty Mouse won that fight. You guys can go check that out on YouTube. There's a lot of clips floating around out there with that ever since this main event. So with that said, Taira is very, very dangerous and very, very skilled. Do not let that guy on your back. If he's on a position where you're off to the side and you can get an underhook, or you could go all fours and try to stand up, guys, maintain the underhook as long as you can, as long as you're not putting yourself in a twister situation. That's the way to get out of that position. If not, you get this man on your back, as Liam Neeson was saying, taken. Good luck. Well, not him, the Albanians over there. Sorry, Dennis. But with that said, very, very clean striking, looked very poised, calm. I think he was only 24 or maybe 25, super young. And for him to be at the level that he's at, I think it only just shows that the sky is the limit for this guy. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what else he can do in the future, because this is a very dangerous man. I think he's a true contender to this weight class and possible title challenger. It just really depends on how everything else shakes up. I don't know what else the UFC is going to do or who else they have lined up for 125, but he is the real deal. Long, rangy at the weight, young, durable, good fight IQ, good presence in the octagon, knows how to move his feet well. And if he gets you down, he is a MF down there. So guys, Tejada is good, and I'm very much looking forward to see what's next for him. And hopefully we get to see the fight between Makayev and Manel, and then we can see who's going to be the next one to get the title shot at the reigning king, Alexander Pantoja. So with that said, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this. I love doing breakdowns like this because I get to show some of the brilliance of BJJ and the intricacies of wrestling, to make it fun, to make it understandable to people. And when you have a will and dance partner, Alex was a will and dance partner. He wasn't going to settle in the position. He was trying to advance, although it might not have been the best moves. He was making moves, and that's what it needs for grappling or fights to be exciting in general. It takes two to tango. If one guy decides to stall the action and do nothing, then the other guy who's in a better and more dominant position, it would be kind of ill-advised for him to rush a position where he's in dominant control just to press the action and possibly lose a position that he could be very, very good at. You know what I mean? So it's like a give and take. You got to be able to do both and entertain as well as trying to get the win so you could go home with both paychecks. See you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. And guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Put that thing in a rear naked choke. And I'll see you guys next time. Drop a comment if you like what you see. And if you do, put the black belt emoji because, yes, black belt BJJ all day, baby. See you guys next time. Peace.